So this is the Uhuru house, and the rally here is in response to the fact that the People's Democratic Uhuru movement has been charged as being Russian agents. The trial begins Tuesday, September 3rd, and it is alleged that their activism in the black community is somehow acting as a foreign agent of Russia. It's a very dangerous case with very extreme implications for freedom of speech, freedom to protest, freedom to be anti-war here in the United States. It was a beautiful rally that was held. Here are some of the highlights of that demonstration.
Come on, put your hands together and stomp your feet. Come on and praise the Lord.
Yeah, we've been messing with each other for a very long time. Yeah, this is CPI. This is Caleb and John. Yeah. This is our guy John.
Thank you so much.
CPI and his spring party. These people are out.
He's pretty good.
This is just a sort of research lab that opened up some.
Well, I'm with you. This is where I'm going.
This is ways. This system ways. She's Secretary General.
As was stated, my name is Jesse Neville. I am also a member of the African People's Solidarity Committee and the chair of our mass organization. And I am also one of the Uhuru Three, along with Chairwoman Penny Hess and our leader, Chairman Omali Yeshitela. And many of you have probably seen the video footage of what this very parking lot and area and staging ground where we are right now looked like on July 29th of 2022. It was filled with FBI agents, dozens, and if not over 100 FBI agents with vans, with armored vehicles, with battering rams, with flashbang grenades. At this location, here in St. Petersburg, at the home of Director Akile Anai, who also want to salute, at the home of Chairman Omali Yeshitela and Deputy Chair, as well as at their home in St. Louis, to have that many FBI agents and that many assault rifles, when they could have sent one guy with a briefcase and a little badge and a warrant to say, I'm here to execute a search warrant. They did that because they wanted to intimidate Chairman Omali Yeshitela. And think about that.
On Tuesday, you have this trial coming up. You know, what sparked this, and what is the message you really want to get across?
The message is that black people have agency, that we don't require anybody to tell us that we are oppressed. We are not employees of Russia. And I think the big problem is that the U.S. government has is that we won't be employees of the U.S. government. We are free people. We are fighting for the freedom of African people.
There's only one interest for imperialism and colonialism, and it's seated right in Washington, D.C., whoever is sitting in the White House. So we got to understand that. So we just came to be here with y'all, and to be here with Comrade Omali, and the party, and the movement, and the supporters, because this is where we needed to be.
This morning you oughta clap your hands. Come on, put your hands together and stomp your feet.
So we got to find out what's happening. So they made me read Marx. They forced me to read Lenin. They forced me to look at Trotsky and all the others who represented what was characterized as scientific revolution. And it was helpful. I read Marx. And having read Marx, I came to damn different conclusions about so much using the science that Marx provided. Because Marx told us, he said, you have to have an understanding of how capitalism came into existence. He said, in order for there to be capitalist production, there must be accumulation of capital. He said, but how do you get an accumulation of capital if there's no capitalist production? He said, the only way we can get out of this is to presuppose that there was an accumulation of capital that preceded the production, capitalist production.
He said that accumulation of capital came about as a consequence of turning Africa into a warren for the commercial hunting of black skins. He said it came and tearing the indigenous people in this land into the mines, bringing up gold and silver and what have you for the Europeans. He said it had to do with the attack that was going on at what they call East India at the time. We're talking about the India in that particular area of South Asia. Hell, he just described the mode of production. That is a mode of production for the first time in history with the enslavement of African people, with the attack on Africa, the Portuguese. 600 years we've been fighting this struggle. 600 years ago, 1415.
I have a question. If Jesse and Penny and the chairman are foreign agents, then who are the elected officials who are receiving money from AIPAC? Are they not foreign agents also? Why aren't they going after them? The hypocrisy of this government is absolutely, it makes you want to toss your cookies, to coin a phrase, okay?
People understand what this means in terms of the threat to free speech of everybody. So that's why people are here, and that's why we are here. So we expect many, many more people to arrive here, and people like Charles Barron, who you may know for years and years was on the City Council in New York and the State Assembly in New York.
Turning 50 plus years old, I can't keep singing outside on the street corners. And then someone told me there was a new radio station called Black Power. I said, they called my name. Black Power. They called my name. I'm black and I got power. So I wanted to go out, and I came and I said, I want to be a DJ. And I never forget the person that was here, manager at the time, say, you want to be a DJ? I said, yeah. He said, aren't you blind? I said, yes, I am. He said, well, I don't know if you can do it. I said, well, give me a chance, man. Give me a chance. And he said, okay, I guess I'll give you a chance. And Deputy Chair, she urged me on. And next thing you know, I was playing music and I was DJing and I was finding love for my community. And they was finding love for me, most importantly.
Okay, CPI is honored to be here because we understand how important this case is. What's at stake is not just a life sentence for Chairman O'Malley. What's at stake is a death sentence for humanity. Because imperialism has pushed us to the brink of a world-ending nuclear war between the United States and Russia. And what these demons are saying with this prosecution is that it's illegal to organize to try to stop that war, and it's illegal to even talk about it. That's right. Go ahead. And we got to talk about it. We got to organize against it because it's a threat to everybody. We're not here defending Chairman O'Malley. He's defending us, our children, everyone we've ever met, and anyone we ever will meet from a world-ending war, from imperialism to colonialism, and the final war that they're leading us to. So we have to do everything we can to help him win that fight. We got to do it like our life depends on it, because it does.
This is a case that's using law in pursuit of political objectives, that this is a political trial. These are political charges that they're making against us, and they're using the law. So we have incredibly good lawyers who will represent us in the court.
There's not really much that I can add, but I just want to turn around and say, look what Chairman O'Malley built. Look what Chairman O'Malley built. Look what Chairman O'Malley built. Chairman O'Malley is not a hashtag revolutionary. He's a cement and bricks revolutionary. He is a builder, and he constructs and he lifts people up. And we look on him with absolute admiration for what he has done and what he has accomplished and why they are targeting him.
Yeah, that's right.
And I must say, if you look at what they're doing, this is a test case. They have already raided the home of Scott Ritter. They just recently targeted Danny Shaw, the journalist, at the airport when he was coming back to the United States. And they have gone as far as to prosecute Sue Mi Terry, the top Korea scholar, a longtime shill, just because South Korea won't go along with the provocations against North Korea that the United States is demanding. There is all kinds of abuse and efforts to impose and utilize the Foreign Agents Registration Act in the works. There have been calls to prosecute organizations that march for Palestine under the Foreign Agents Registration Act. And this is a test case. And that is why standing up and taking this to trial and saying that you will not surrender is so important. It's really important. And we should all look in absolute admiration to Chairman O'Malley, to the Uhuru Three, and all that they are doing. And I must say that Chairman O'Malley is a builder. And that's why he has been targeted, is because he has built and he has constructed. And if you look at what their system is doing, monopolistic capitalism is in a wrecking, destructive period. But we are builders. We are people of the land. We are fighting back. We are resisting. We resist their global system based on fake wealth and usury and global domination of world markets. And we stand for building and construction and popular power. Thank you very much.
And if, in fact, this trial is based on law and the Constitution, we'll win it, hands down. But the problem is that it's political, and so therefore is extremely important for the people who are the most incredible, most significant factor in any kind of political situation, the people. And so that's what's really important, for the people to come forward and say that we recognize that black people have been historically oppressed in this country. The Russians didn't have to tell us that.
That the party, the chairman, has stood with every struggle. We recently found a photograph of Jainaba's father, the incredible Biko Lumumba, speaking at a rally in support of Leonard Peltier in San Francisco in about 1983, 84, the party stood with Leonard Peltier for his freedom then, who has been in prison for 50 years on his own stolen land. So I just want to say we are confident. We want everybody to be there who can. The trial starts next Tuesday. It is powerful to see the people. And it's just, we will win. We will win. Only the people can do this. Salute to Chairman O'Malley. Shatella, Deputy Chair on this nation, telling the African People's Socialist Party.
And I'm saying this as somebody who's a communist. I'm a Comrade Charles Barry. No, I'm a materialist. You understand? I'm a materialist. But saying I'm a materialist does not keep me from appreciation of what we've seen here today. Because African people came to Christianity for different reasons. African people came to Christianity because it was the religion of the oppressed. Right. That's why there's go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land, tell Pharaoh, let my people go. You weren't hearing that in the white church. You were hearing that in the church of the oppressed. And that's the thing that brought us to this relationship with these wonderful people who bring the culture, African culture. We've had to learn how to even sing songs and express our feelings in ways that's not necessarily obvious to the oppressor. When Harriet Tubman come in the middle of the night to get the people, what she say? Steal away, steal away. And Africans understood exactly what that means. It's time to bounce. You understand? And so people got together and did exactly that. So that's our relationship. That's a different Christianity than what Trump is talking about. That's a different Christianity than what Biden is talking about. That's a religion that's based in resistance. That's the way we approach that.
I go to the movies and I go downtown. Somebody always telling me no.
Also, did I say anything about the Center for Political Innovation?
I want to, because these comrades were some of the first out of the gate. When this attack happened, they were first out of the gate. They didn't ask any questions or anything like that. They were the first out of the gate, and not only in words. They began to take actions everywhere they were located. We can see the actions they were involved in, defending the Uhuru 3 and opposed to what the FBI was doing to us, trying to do to us. And they understood the relationship that it had to the whole question of free speech for everybody. In Brooklyn, New York, the first tribunal on reparations for African people, the first world tribunal where we use international law, including the Genocide Convention. This is so wild because they charged us with being under the leadership of the Russians around genocide. And Comrade John had a splendid response to that. He said the guy who, the Russian we're supposed to be working for, was only 7 years old when we had that conviction, so they've done some time trial, in Russia to be able to make that, that claim. But I just wanted to say that the CPI, John, and then Caleb and John, Center for Political Innovation. Yeah, I saw Caleb in this video. Come back, Caleb. And he was on a Vladimir Putin, President Putin was on the stage, and Caleb was in the audience, and he raised his hand and was recognized, and he said that what was happening with the Uhuru 3, and that they were using the Russia kind of thing as the basis for that, and he put it before them, and I thought that was really powerful and really good.
Things between our two countries are not good at this point. Before we left, we had to have a press conference at the United Nations. We are concerned about being prosecuted. There are 3 Americans that have already been charged and are facing prosecution, possibly 15 years in prison, simply because they attended a conference like this in Russia, the Uhuru movement, they're called. And we are concerned because I know that I speak for the majority of the American people when I say that we do not want our tax money dumped into this conflict in Ukraine any longer. We do not want our country to continue to deteriorate internally while our leaders waste money on prolonging this war. I'm frightened by what the Biden administration is doing, not just in Ukraine, but also on Taiwan and on the Korean Peninsula. And I really do see gatherings like this as a potential road to peace.
I don't want to say too much. I spoke earlier, but I just want to tell you that Tara Reid, the journalist who was sexually assaulted by Joe Biden and is currently living in Russia, wanted me to send her greetings to today's rally and to express her support. And I want to also say that, 2 years ago, I live in Brooklyn, but I was in Chicago, and we were going to have a conference, and we were going to honor Tara Reid at our conference. It was 2 years ago, and I was in Chicago helping prepare for the conference. And then my phone started blowing up because everyone started telling me from around the country about what was happening here in St. Petersburg and in St. Louis. And we heard about what was happening, and we immediately thought we need to do everything we can to support the Uhuru movement. And so we were all over social media raising the case and raising awareness. And we made a phone call, and we decided we were going to dedicate the opening of our conference to the case. And members of the organization drove from St. Louis to Chicago, and we opened our conference honoring the Uhuru movement in the aftermath, in the immediate aftermath of those raids. And Tara Reid was there, and she had not heard about the raids and what had happened, but she heard about it, and she was able to speak with many of her associates and people that she's known through her efforts to expose Joe Biden. And we were able to make some connections, and that's something we're very, very proud of. We have from the beginning seen how dangerous this case is. And I have yelled at many people that I know that are anti-imperialists, many people that are claiming to be anti-war, claiming to be against the FBI, about how dangerous this case really is. And we have seen one of our roles as an organization of just highlighting the importance of this case, because there are many people who just don't seem to grasp how serious this case is. the attitude of the anti-imperialist movement, the attitude of the anti-war movement and the labor movement was an injury to one is an injury to all. And if they come for one of us, they have to deal with all of us. And that is the attitude of solidarity that we've been trying to bring from the beginning about this case. And so I want to urge people to go to their networks and demand people take a stand around this case, explain to them why it's so important, and don't let the issue go. Don't let them drop it. Don't let them just put out one statement, okay, we support them, and then move on and do something else. Explain to them how all of our rights are on trial here today. That's what I want to make clear. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Now more than ever, it's time to get organized. You and I both know that institutions like the African People's Socialist Party are crucial in advancing our struggle for liberation.
That even the First Amendment that the prosecution has attempted to prevent us from using as a defense, even that First Amendment was not ratified by the United States Congress until 1791. At the time where African people were still living in the worst kind of slavery imaginable. So it certainly wasn't even made for us, but African people in this country have been the ones fighting harder for the constitutional rights than anybody else. So we are the ones who made the struggle for universal suffrage. We are the ones whose churches were bombed, our children killed, our leaders assassinated, just pursuing the right for the democratic rights that's associated with the First Amendment and the Bill of Rights. So we didn't need any Russians to tell us that.